Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's the Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a talk, a conversation, if you will, about your life, your money. We are taking calls all afternoon. Give us a call. The number is free, although, George, these days, all calls are free. 888-825-5225. Joined by the parsimonious George Camel.
Did you
to
Google
my right.
that, or is that just in the Rolodex for
That's
you?
in the Rolodex. I like that word because it means frugal.
Wow.
That's a good word, isn't it?
It's a very expensive word for someone who's frugal.
Okay.
Tell you that much.
Yeah, it's kind of like an oxymoron.
But I like it.
Yes. Love it. All right, guys, give us a call. Like I said, call in. We're going to talk about your life, your money, and George, let's just go straight to these phone lines, okay?
I'm here for it.
We got Tabitha in Atlanta, GA. What's going on, Tabitha?
Hi there. First of all, I am very excited that I even get to speak with you guys. I have several questions. Basically, okay, so I'm a recovering addict from I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
That's okay.
You're
got
doing
you.
great, Tabitha. We're here for
Okay.
you. We're with you. We're going to hold your hand and
Okay.
get you through this.
Awesome. Okay, so I have been in recovery from hard addiction majority of my life. I am 6 years clean.
Awesome.
Very good.
I now work as a certified peer specialist and a case manager for the Georgia Adult Drug Court. So this is what's going on. I am I was born in poverty, and basically my parents were addicts themselves. So I was never taught any of these things until I just recently started watching these YouTube videos. And it's like a light bulb in my head. I have a career. I do not have any college education. I'm living from check to check. I live in a home for women and children. So I'm a single mother, and I live in a home where I only pay 30% of my income a month. So I pay $700 in rent a month for where I'm staying. I'm living from check to check. I owe $4,000 to Aspen Dental because without education and the research, I just ran to the first place to get my teeth fixed.
Okay.
So the only debt I have is the $4,500. I'm 39 years old, and I want to be successful, and I want to be successful with my money, and I want to break the chain of poverty for me and my son so he can have a great life, and I don't know where to begin.
Well, first of all, you're already breaking that chain. 6 years clean. The fact that you're diving in, you're looking at YouTube videos, you're calling into the show, you are breaking that chain. I know I speak for myself and George when I say we are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Very, very,
I'm
very good.
inspired by your story already. And when we talk about changing your family tree, this is it. And I cannot think of a more noble and strong why than the one that you have today. And that's what gives me hope that you are going to get to where you want to get financially. And we can definitely help you get
Absolutely.
So what's your income? What's your income looking like?
Okay, so my annual income is $34,000.
And how much do you see every month in your check?
So every month in my check, 2,000, 2, 3. I see about $2,300.
Okay. $2,300, and you've got your rent going out, and then you've got this dental situation. You said you're a single mom. How many kids do you have?
I have one.
One child. How old?
He is 6 years old.
Oh, very, very cool.
6 going on 36.
Wow, so that really was your why. 6 years old, 6 years clean. Very, very cool.
Okay, so what are your other expenses? Do you have fixed expenses where you're renting right now? Because I'm seeing there's $1,600 left. You still got to put food on the table. You got to cover some other bills. So you're saying I'm paycheck to paycheck. What do you think is the cause of that right now?
I'm going to tell you what the cause of that is. Okay, so when I got this employment right here and I started working with people at the government center and everything like that, when I say I was never really taught money is a tool that you use. It's not to just spend. And when I was going to Macy's to catch up with the Joneses, I was getting perfume, high heels, outfits. I decorated my apartment because I thought this is what you do. You decorate and you make everything look great.
So you're saying that you were just kind of spending like crazy, and I'm guessing that you're ready to stop doing that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what I would do, and we're going to set you up with Every Dollar. Are you already on Every Dollar?
No.
Okay, so Every Dollar is our budgeting platform here at Ramsey. It is the best and easiest budgeting tool that's out there, and I can say that from personal experience. We're going to set you up with that. Don't get off the call until you get that from our phone screener. And more than that, I also want you to sign up for a webinar that I'm hosting next week on budgeting. We're going to walk through all of that together. It's free, so we'll also make sure you have the information for that. And in the meantime, like George said, you've got this great margin here. Obviously, I'd like to see even more margin. Is there something that you can do to increase your income?
See, it would be amazing if I could go get a second job. The only problem I have with that is finding someone to watch my little boy at night.
At night.
See, luckily I have, school during the day. I work the 9 to 5 hours, so it works out perfectly. But that would be.
But there's no child care provided through your housing right now?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It's definitely independent living.
Yeah. With your skill set, could you get another job that would pay more in the same kind of field or same role in the Atlanta area?
Working towards that.
Okay.
Okay, and that's what the school is for?
The school. Well, no, I don't have no schooling right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, when you said you were at school during the day, my mind kind of went in a different direction. So
my son is at school during the day, so that's why these hours, they fit perfectly. But I'm also at this point, maybe if I were to go get that second job, I can make it happen.
Yeah. So your A1 and A2 here are we're getting on a budget, which is we're listing out those expenses. You know what you got to pay for, right? The $700 in rent, food, utilities, transportation, all of those 4 walls you've got to do. And then anything extra, if you have extra, we're hitting it at this debt. And in the meantime, we're looking on opportunities to get your income up long term. And in the meantime, even some short term opportunities to get that income up. How does that sound?
It sounds amazing.
Awesome.
You're amazing.
It sounds so. It's like a light bulb that has been over my head for the past week and a half. I've been walking around. Some of my friends think I'm crazy and everything. I'm like, I got a plan now. I got a plan.
It's a good sign. If people are making fun of your financial plan, you're going in the right direction.
I know, that's right.
You are going to inspire so many people who have been where you've been, people who want to be where you're going to be. And I can't wait for you to call back and share your debt-free story. You're going to be there in no time.
Woo!
$4,500 feels like a mountain right now. You're going to look back at that when you have a fully funded emergency fund, no debt, saving for the future, going, I did that.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, hang on the line. Don't forget, we got Every Dollar for you. We got my webinar for you. And hey, make sure she goes through Financial Peace University as well. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Visit Blinds.com to save up to 40% off everything site-wide. Go to Blinds.com for more information.
listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw. Give us a call. The number is simple, 888-825-5225. But before we go to the phone lines, my host, George Camel, and I have to talk about something so exciting that's going on. John Deloney, Dr. John Deloney, Ramsey's very own, has a brand new book coming out. The pre-sale has actually already begun.
And it's been going like hotcakes. I mean, people are just,
Yes.
It's like they've been waiting with bated breath for this exact book in this time.
Oh, yeah. And the world needs it. Let me tell you, we all need it. This book is called Building a Non-Anxious Life.
I feel like it was written for me.
Yes. Have you started reading it yet?
They haven't given me a copy yet.
I got one
Jade
of those.
got one. I saw it on your desk.
Yeah,
So I might steal it.
If you work at Ramsey, you got like a pre, I don't
The
know.
advanced reader's copy.
Oh, thank you, George. That's what it's called. I was about to call it like I don't know what I was going to call it, but we got one. I started reading it last night. Love it. John, let me tell you something about Dr. John. The way he talks about mental health, it just hits different.
Yes.
It's not like...
It's not stuffy.
No.
It's not heavy. It's somehow light, but also you're like gut punch at the same time.
It's not like a bunch of jargon and studies and...
Even I can understand it.
And that's saying something,
That
George.
is saying a lot.
But if you go ahead and pre-order today, you'll get $75 in free bonus items. And these bonus items are pretty legit. You get to see one of his latest talks that he did. I actually saw the talk.
Oh,
It's
that
incredible.
was a good one.
Smoke,
It's worth
Fire,
it
and
just
Freedom.
for that. I mean, you pay $20 and get
Honestly,
the talk, and then you're getting the book for free at that point. That's how I see it.
That's right.
That's worth it.
You get the audiobook version of it, which in my mind, look, you need to read with your eyeballs and your brain, but go back and listen to it too, because there's something about hearing it in the author's voice that's like...
I like John's voice too. It's comforting. It's got kind of like a Batman tone to it, you know?
Interesting.
He's got that kind of guttural
Oh, yeah,
vibe.
okay.
I'm Batman.
Okay.
More of a Lego Batman vibe, if we're going to be honest.
Which Batman? Michael Keaton?
You know, I'm more of a Christian Bale guy. I'm going to be honest.
The Dark Knight. Okay.
That was the best one.
I'm with that. But in this book, we digress. In this book, Dr. John Deloney talks about 6 daily choices that you can make in order to actually build a non-anxious life. It's not like this thing in the clouds. He actually brings it down, and there is a framework that you can follow similar to the baby steps. And I like me a good framework, George Camel. So
Absolutely.
Pre-order today. You can do that at RamseySolutions.com. All right, let's go to Kansas City, Missouri, and talk to Justin. What's going on, Justin?
What's going on? Thanks for taking my call.
You're very welcome.
I had a few questions about, so I'm in a market for a house I never owned. I'm 45 years old, so I'm anxious to own. I'm sick of dealing with apartment complexes. I make $52,000 a year, but I have student loans, $20,000 in debt with that. That's my only debt. I own my car, no credit card debt.
Very good.
I bring in about $1,450 a month, so $2,900. That's after the pension. I work for the city, so the pension, and then I do another little retirement, a 401b, and then insurance. So that's what I take home, about $1,450 a check, $2,900 a month. So the issue is here, Kansas City's like becoming like Nashville. Everything is just shooting up. And people are telling me you need to buy now. You're going to miss the boat. And then I have people telling me the market is, which I do believe Kansas City should not be the price that it is. I'm sorry. It's a great city, but it's not on the coast. It's not Chicago.
Sure. But it is the reality. I mean, the reality is it is more expensive to buy a home right now. I mean, the struggle is real and it kind of sucks, but that is the reality and we have to accept that. What I will say, though, is the time to buy a house is not when other people tell you. It's not when the market is just right. The time to buy a house is when you can afford to buy a house. And so let's look at it through that framework and let's kind of walk through these numbers here. So you've explained that each month you're taking home $2,900. Now this 401b, is that voluntary? Are you able to get out of that?
That's voluntary, yes, because we have a pension where I am, so that's supposed to be like an add-on to our pension when we retire. Yeah.
How much a month goes to that?
I pay a month $100 a month, $50 a check.
Okay. So what I would do, the way that we teach it here through the framework of the baby steps, is I would suggest that you pay off your student loans and get completely debt-free first before you do any type of home purchase. And then after that, I want you to save up for a really good down payment. So do you have any money saved yet?
I only have about $3,000 saved, but I do want to add, I didn't tell you this, I am a veteran, and I was going through the veterans. They have pre-approved me for way over than I could even afford, but they said you don't really need, they just want earnest money, and they said maybe the closing cost, you know, but
here's the problem with the VA loans. I love that we're like, let's help the veterans, but then the way we help them is by letting them get into a house while they're broke with no equity.
Right.
And it ends up hurting them long term because they become house poor. They can't afford other financial goals. And so the VA loan can be an okay deal if the funding fee is waived based on your disability rating. But I still would want you to have a good down payment, and you're probably still better off going with a conventional fixed rate loan.
I agree.
Really look
and
at the
also, I'm new. I just got into my job post-COVID, and there is the next step up for me would be $90,000. Now that could be, I could get that at Christmas time, or I could get it in 7 years, or I may never get it. So I don't want to base it off that. I don't know when I'm going to
base it. You want to base it off. I mean, obviously, yes, your income is going to continue to go up, but here and now, we want to base our home payment off of our current income. It would be one thing if you're like, hey, next month I'm starting a new job and I'll be making $90,000. That's a little different. But right now, since you don't know when that's going to happen, we're looking for something where the payment's no more than 25% of your take-home pay. So you can run those numbers back. And as a matter of fact, we've got a great calculator at RamseySolutions.com. How much home can I afford? And you can type that in and use that calculator, and it's going to help you see, okay, here's what I need to save. Like, this is the amount of the purchase. And then you can run that back and say, okay, how much do I need to save to put a good down payment? It would be amazing if you could put 20% down, and then you could avoid some of the fees that are associated with it, but get as close to 20% as you can.
I agree. And, because you don't want to be trapped. Like, my rent is only $900. I know it will go up.
That's right.
I'm looking at mortgages, $1,600, and you're right, I would be house broke. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's not going to be a blessing. I know people are telling you, get a house, you'll never be able to get a house. They don't pay your bills, Justin. Mm-hmm. You got to pay the bills. Mm-hmm. And when you barely can put food on the table and cover insurance and cover no other goals, and then one emergency hits and you got no money while having student loan debt, you're going to be calling us back saying, I got into a house before I should have. What do I do? And I don't want to see you there, especially veterans. I've got such a heart for veterans. Thank you for your service and sacrifice.
That's right.
You.
And I believe that you can do this in a peaceful financial way, but it might be 5 years from now instead of a year from now.
That's right. And it might not be the home that you're envisioning. Like, I don't know what you have in your mind, but you got to remember, like, this thing, George, it's a ladder. And sometimes you start with a condo, and then you go to a townhouse, and then you go to a small single family. And then you don't think that you necessarily have to start out with that 4-bedroom.
Are you single, Justin?
Pardon?
Are you single?
I'm divorced. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm divorced.
So it's just single, you. Yeah. We don't need to go get a 4-bedroom in Kansas City just to have some different rooms. I don't see many rooms in my house. I'm in the kitchen, I'm in the living room, and I'm sleeping.
I know that's right. It. I'm still wondering why I have a dining room. I don't know why that happened. But you see the point, Justin.
Right. Reset your expectations. Get out of the student loan debt. The baby step 1, $1,000 emergency fund. You have that. So you're at baby step 2. And so the key here is let's get our income up and knock out this $20,000 in student loans. Let's get the emergency fund in place, 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then let's start tackling the down payment. And you might need to move. We might need to go, hey, I got to get out of Kansas City. It's too expensive.
Right.
That's right.
Right. And the student loan, I could put more down on it, treat it like a car payment, right?
Yes.
I know that it would go down.
Especially if you pause investing. You're doing 17 things at once, and they're all good things, but we've got to have some focus intensity right now. And that is where the baby steps work every time you work them.
Mm-hmm, that's right. We're putting any and all extra money that we can find, scrounge up, dig up, work up. We're putting that on the student loans, and we're going to pay them off with intensity as quickly as possible. That's how this whole thing works. That's how you get out of debt. That's how you pay off your student loans. I don't care who you are, whether you're Justin or somebody listening out there. Pay off your student loans. Do it with intensity. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dr. John Deloney here. I'm a huge fan of both meditation and prayer. And good mental health includes slowing down, gaining control of your thoughts, and plugging into something bigger than you. And Hallow makes it easy to start a daily practice of meditation, prayer, and finding peace. Hallow is the #1 Bible app in the world, and you can tailor content towards your faith tradition. From scripture readings and prayers to meditation and journaling, Hallow makes it easy to practice prayer, meditate, and build a deeper, more meaningful spiritual life and rediscover true peace. Go to hallow.com/Ramsey today to get 3 months of Hallow for free. That's hallow.com/Ramsey.
You're listening to The Ramsey Show. Jade Warshaw, your host today, joined by George Camel with an amazing YouTube show, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, The George Camel Show.
You were not paid to say that.
No.
But I appreciate that.
You know,
it wasn't one of your obligatory, hey, Jade, you got to talk about this.
That's
on it.
right.
So thank you.
I just looked at your wonderful face, George, and I thought, this guy's got a wonderful YouTube. You let me be on one of your episodes.
That's right. It'll be out very soon. We did a really fun interview with Jade that you got to tune into. So you can go subscribe, youtube.com/George Camel. And we got 3 episodes a week. I mean, the team is crushing it. It's hard to take credit, as you know, because the team is doing so much work to get this stuff out the door, and we're having a blast doing it.
But, dude, the amount of people who are subscribing to that page because it's so good, you got to feel some type of way.
We were like, I want to become the first Ramsey YouTuber.
Yes.
You know, not a show that happens to be like we are making it for YouTube, and we're having a blast. So.
Totally different from all the other wonderful offerings that we have here, but this is totally different, and that's very cool.
A lot of millennial memes and snark and quick cuts. It's like squirrel brain.
It is. I love it. I love it. It's great. Check it out. In the meantime, George, something really funny came through. You know, we're always here reacting to articles, different things that pop up that we think are going to be relatable to you. And this is one, George, from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, this shocked me. Here's what they said. $50 or $500? When do we tell our partner what we've spent? And it goes on to say, cap on purchases reduces conflict and preserves financial autonomy in a relationship. And I'm like, let's go, Wall Street Journal. Like, they're talking about this stuff.
And they got it right for once.
Yeah. And so this is something that we've taught for years, and that is often misunderstood.
Yes.
Because people say, Jay, do you want me to combine bank accounts? I'm going to lose all autonomy. I'm going to lose who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And I'm going, by combining bank accounts, it doesn't mean you don't get to spend money. It just means that you talk about it first.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And even in the framework of even budgeting, sometimes it's like this idea of, if I budget, I won't get to spend my money anymore, or I won't get to do these things. And it's like, no, it's all of this together. We're budgeting, we're talking with our spouse, and we have line items on there for personal spending.
Yes.
Right?
It's not this like, don't tread on me, Jade. You can have your own line item. It can be Jade's fun money and Sam's fun money.
That's right. And it is.
And you set the limits for both. They may not. My wife's fun money is more than mine.
Yeah.
Because she deserves the finer things in life. And I'm like, it hurts for me to spend money.
Okay. I got several line items on the budget that say Jade next to it.
There we go.
It's hair. It's nails.
Yeah. So it's not about this like, well, you got to spend 50. So, but if there is a cap, say, hey, if you're going to spend more than $100, we got to talk about it first.
Yeah, well, you know, especially if you've kind of got like a slush fund or like a miscellaneous category that's just like, hey, this money right here is a little bit up for grabs. That especially you need to talk to, because if you've got line items on your budget, let's just say I've got $100 of fun money. Correct me if I'm wrong, George, but I'm like, I get to spend that $100, and as long as I'm not doing anything illegal,
yes,
I don't really have to tell you what I just did. Now, if you ask me, if I come home and Sam's like, hey, what did you do? I'm like, oh, I went to Target, blah, blah, blah. But then if there's that kind of fund in the middle that's like $200 miscellaneous, I don't think it's fair for someone to just go up and spend that without saying first, hey, that $200, I saw a lamp at TJ Maxx. I was thinking about getting it. You know what I mean?
Yes. And so the key here is communicating up front, and don't blame the budget, blame your lack of communication.
Facts on facts.
The budget didn't do anything wrong because you're the boss of the budget until it's done. Then the budget is the boss of you. So have the conversation with your spouse and say, all right, we're agreeing Jade gets 100, Sam gets 100, and you can do what you want with that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. But this idea that you need this autonomy with money is just an excuse for financial infidelity, for selfishness, for immaturity. And you don't lose that because you're married. And by the way, you lose autonomy just by getting married. And John Deloney had a great clip on this.
Yeah. Well,
that you lose your sense of personality or identity.
Yeah.
But it's not all about what you want to do anymore.
That's true.
There's another person involved.
Yeah, that's true. That's an interesting conversation because I do think you still have your autonomy. I mean, you still have your freedom.
Category.
You still have your freedom, but it's a more matured view of freedom.
It's
right?
teamwork now.
It's you're free to make choices, but those choices are with your husband. You're still free to be able to do the things that you did before, but you understand how your actions affect the other person. Like there's still, I don't feel like you like get confined in this way. It's just like, okay, like we're learning about each other. This is what I like to do, but you're open about it. You're talking about it. And I'm curious, George. Whoa, curious George. I'm curious,
we
George,
got there.
About, gosh, you and Whitney.
Oh, yeah.
So is there a number that it's like, hey, if you spend this, don't come home having spent this and not talk to me because it's going to be fireworks.
Ooh, well, there's categories like groceries. If Whitney goes and spends $100 on groceries and it's in the budget, I'm not like, whoa, you spent over $100.
Right.
It's those things that are outside of the normal household necessity categories.
Uh-huh.
Like we just bought a tapestry for decor that she's been wanting a long time.
Tapestry?
A tapestry. I know. I didn't even know these words existed. And it's from Anthropologie.
Oh.
Which, if you know Anthropologie, everything there is like $1 bajillion.
Yes,
and so
that's right.
we talked about it because she was like, hey, I'm going to buy this tapestry. I've put it in the budget. I've been wanting this for a long time. It finally is here. It's on sale.
Yeah.
It's $150. And I was like, cool. Glad we talked about that.
Good for
Versus
you.
it being a big surprise. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then we're not having a fight about it. So if you've got a spouse that's constantly you're up against and it's a battle, again, it's not the budget's fault. There's something going on deeper there. Maybe and it could be financial trauma. It could be control issues.
Yes.
Everyone grew up differently.
Yeah, control issues will get you quick. If you grew up in a controlling household and then your spouse just asks us, makes that simple request of, hey, let me know you when you spend, and you start getting triggered and you start getting...
It's like a conversation grenade you just threw in there. So,
yes.
But
Have
you
those
got to get to the
conversations.
root of what's really going on. And the joint account, again, not the problem. Mm-hmm. It's you. It's not an ish me, it's an issue.
Yes, that's right.
So figure it out.
Can I also call out George? Because some people will be like, yeah, me and my husband, we combined our finances. And really what they're talking about is they have an account.
That is a joint account?
That's a joint account that they put a little of their money into, and he puts a little of his money into. And that's what they're calling combined finances.
Y'all are roommates with privileges, okay? I don't subscribe to that. I saw the Steve Harvey video. It's like, everyone should have 4 bank accounts.
Well,
you got his account, her account, the joint account, the savings account. I'm like, let's just simplify our life, y'all. Life's already too complicated.
Yeah.
Let's have our joint account and the savings account. That's also joint. And let's have full awareness and accountability of what's going on. And I'm telling you, that's what caused my wife and I to win with money so quickly. It expedites it. You see exponential progress when you both are aligned and have visibility.
That's right. And there's trust there. You're not going to go far very fast if there's not trust. And part of that is like, hey, like you said, total visibility. He sees what's going on. I see what's going on. It's all good.
Good discussion.
Whew. All right,
George,
let's take a quick
you've
call.
officially reached like feudal medieval lord status having a tapestry. That's pretty big.
A tapestry.
I think
I still don't know what a tapestry is.
It's part of your Middle Eastern.
That's right.
Like tapestries, Oriental. What is it? Not what are the rugs?
Oh yeah, the Turkish rugs,
rugs.
Oriental rugs.
Yes.
It's all in there.
It's all in there.
My parents do love. We had furniture at the Camel household that was made of glass. It was the most it looked very royal. It looked like we had some like thrones going. It was Game of Thrones in my house growing up. But you sit down and you're just like, you are the Sphinx cat. But it looks fancy.
Glass furniture?
The arms are glass.
Oh.
The cushion is rock hard.
See, what I know
The back
about...
is totally flat.
Interesting. I know about putting plastic on the furniture. Do you know what I'm talking about?
We did that growing up. Yep.
Oh, gosh. That's when you're really deep in. You're trying to preserve everything. You never want to buy anything ever again. If you put plastic on your furniture, that's you saying, I'm never spending money ever again.
I mean, is it art? Are we just supposed to appreciate it underneath the plastic?
It's supposed to preserve it. Like
Yeah.
if you buy a nice couch, you put the plastic on it, then nothing gets
Only when
on it.
This was my aunt and uncle did this. It was only when like you had people over, you take off the plastic and you sit and have the Turkish coffee and the desserts and it's But other than that, it's like a museum. Like package that thing back up.
That's right. So you got to have limit, guys. You can't take it to the extreme. Don't take it too far. There's 3 things that you can do with your money: give, save it, spend it. And if you're gonna spend it, make sure you talk with your spouse. Make sure you put these parameters on it. Make sure you're having open conversations. Don't be out here trying to control somebody, but have a conversation.
Yeah, this is
and make
Planet
sure.
Fitness. This is a judgment-free zone. Okay, let's just be adults. Let's talk about it. Let's make a plan. And then we said, hey, we stuck to the plan. Then we're not the villains. Listen, the plan's the bad guy.
Okay.
Give it a name if you want. Call him Kevin. I don't care. Hey, it's Kevin's fault. Classic Kevin behavior.
The point is, if you don't like what's in your budget, you get to change it. The budget should reflect your needs and your wants. This is The Ramsey Show. Listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, today joined by George Camel. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. We'll chop it up. We'll talk about your life, your money, whatever's going on in your financial situation. We are here to offer a little bit of help, a little bit of guidance. We're not going to tell you exactly what to do. You can do what you want to do, but we will give you some great advice and what we would do, honestly. That's all we're going to tell you.
Yeah, if we were in your shoes, here's what we would do. We answer it as honestly as we can while steering you toward a better financial future.
That's right. But at the end of the day, George, I want to listen to you because you went from debt to baby step millionaire.
Yeah.
In a very, very short period of time.
I'll be honest, it was aggressive. And people go like, you went from broke to millionaire in 10 years. Like, you must have had this crazy income. I'm like, no, I just had a wife who was on board. So dual income for sure helps. And we were so all in on the Ramsey plan that we were like, we call themselves the test tube babies.
Yes.
Because we just did this thing. And so it might take you 15, 20 years. I'm just here to tell you, I'm an average guy. I didn't grow up with money. And here I am, and I got some. And I'm still living very frugally. Like, my life didn't change. You think when you hit millionaire status, like, you're going to be balling. I'm like, my life really hasn't. It's still the same George in there. You go with you.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean,
my habits have stuck with me.
Yeah.
I'm still couponing. Me and Sharon Ramsey out here are still couponing.
Right. It's not like you're tapping into your 401k every day and your home equity, right? So life is.
I still got goals.
There we go. Let's take a call from Anna in Denver, Colorado. What's going on, Anna?
Hey, I bought a car about a year ago. I'm also a nurse, but I bought the car for about $32,000. It's a Ford 2020 Edge. But anyways, I also have about $20,000 worth of school loans. And then I do have like $22,000 in savings. So I was just kind of wondering, I mean, I am also a single mom, so I do, would love a nice, reliable car.
Sure.
I did look at potentially selling my vehicle, and I don't know if it's just when I bought it or what, but now it's like Kelley Blue Book says it's only worth about like $18,000 to $20,000.
Ooh,
what do you owe on it?
I'm sorry.
What do you owe on the car?
$28,000.
Okay, 28.
So you're about 10 grand underwater in this thing, if Kelley Blue Book is right. Was that private party?
Yeah, so I've gotten offers for like $20,000, which is about what it's saying. But it's like to buy a new car or old new car, it would be probably around $3,000 to $5,000. So
what's your income?
And that's like I make about $80,000 a year.
Okay.
How much are you bringing home every month?
Around $4,000 to $5,000.
And what's the payment on this car?
It's $523 or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 18 in car loan and 20K. Is that one student loan, or are they broken out into multiple?
They're broken up into multiple.
Great. So what's your smallest student loan balance?
$4,000.
Okay. So we can knock that one out pretty quick. In fact, we can do it today because we have a lot of money in savings, don't we? To where we can knock out the student loans completely today. That would free up a whole lot of payments, wouldn't it?
Ooh.
Yes.
And how great would that feel going into October, knowing that you don't have to make any payments?
You're watching the headlines, everyone's freaking out, and you're like, oh yeah, that thing's just a memory.
That thing is gone. How does that feel, Anna?
Sally Mae don't live here no more.
That would feel good. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, though, I was like, is it worth selling that car? Like, that would be a big, to get rid of that $28,000.
It would, but the car is not really the problem in your life. I mean, based on your income, the car is reasonable.
Yeah.
Should you have done it? No. But now that we're here, we're 10 grand underwater. You make 80 grand. The car is not worth more than half your income. It's your only vehicle, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to go, we're paying off our student loans today. Now we're attacking the car and making 80 grand. How quickly could you pay off 18 without the student loan payments in your life?
Or
probably, pretty quick.
Is it 18 or 28?
Oh, it's 28.
Okay.
28.
Car loan,
So 28 grand on the car loan. Yeah. So we have that left making 80. And so I would say within a year.
I would think so. Can you live on 60?
Probably.
Then there you go. There it is.
Can you work extra overtime?
I don't love to, but I'm a nurse, so it's out there. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's out there.
If you're a nurse, I feel like one of the best things you can do is work that overtime and be that one like, I'll take that shift. And you do that for 6 months, and you're gonna be like, oh, I never have to do that again.
Picture this. Christmas time rolls around. You don't have a debt in the world. You've paid off your car. You've paid off your student loans. You've started stacking up just because you've worked extra. So you've moved quickly and you've started stacking up some savings. Maybe you've got 5,000 or 6,000 stacked up. You're going into Christmas. You're buying presents. And the whole thing is so peaceful. You didn't have to get caught up in the student loan drama, or in the fall, back in October and September. And you're going into a new year completely debt-free. You're having savings set aside. And you have completely changed your financial outlook. How would that feel?
Amazing.
You don't have to work overtime anymore. Come on now.
Right. Absolutely.
So the key here is one thing at a time, Anna. I know it feels overwhelming right now. You got a whole bunch of debts. I mean, single mom, you're working your tail off. And this is a season. And you're going to look back and you're still going to say, I would do that all over again to have the financial freedom and peace that I have right now. And the way I set up my kid, because of what I did during that time, was so worth it. And so I know it feels like, oh gosh, I knew they were going to make me go to work. But that's the plan. There's no shortcuts here.
That's right. Anna, are you set up with Every Dollar? That's our budgeting tool.
I don't.
Okay. Today, I want you to log on everydollar.com. And by the way, we have a promo going on. You can log on to everydollar/George and get yourself $15 off. And use that, okay? You get a year for $15 off. Or if you're like, Jade, I'm not trying to spend any money, you can just go to Every Dollar and do a free trial and just do the free version, not the premium version.
Where you log your own transactions and all that. But it's good, especially as you're getting started, for you to actually have to pay attention to all that instead of automating it, especially when I was starting budgeting. It was helpful for me to have to look in that financial mirror and that bank account and go like, oh, bro, what'd you spend on eating out this week? We got to do better next week.
I agree. Okay. So get set up with Every Dollar. When I tell you it's going to change everything, it's going to change everything. And when I tell you it's going to provide so much motivation because of the tools that are inside of there, there's so much learning inside of there. There are so many things that'll help you project. If I do this, where will I be financially? And when I tell you it's going to just light a fire inside of you, you are going to do this so quickly, it's going to make your head spin.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
All right, Anna, thanks for the call.
Stuff.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about, George.
So her question, which debt should I pay off first? The smallest one.
The smallest one.
Why is that? Well, shouldn't you be looking at the interest rate? I mean, that's really the thing. Listen, this isn't about math. We wouldn't be in debt if we could do math, basic math, addition and subtraction. And so this is something I had to do. I pulled my credit report to figure out what debt do I even owe? Because I didn't know at the time when I graduated college.
Yeah.
And when I saw those numbers, it was overwhelming. But then I made a list, smallest to largest, and all I had to do was focus on that little one.
That's right. You don't have to look at the rest of them.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, $2,000, I could do that. I can knock out $2,000 instead of looking at the huge number, which y'all had over $460,000. If you just looked at a huge number and went, all right, we got to pay off 460 grand.
Never that.
Instead, it's we got to pay off $2,000. Now we got to pay off $3,000. All right, next one's $5,000. We already did 2 and 3.
Yeah.
We know it's possible now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. We listed the debt smallest to largest. We did not add them up. You know what I'm saying? We didn't add them all up to see what is it equal. That didn't come till later. We just focused on
heart palpitations doing that.
I would have been like, oh.
I mean, I saw your list of debts. It looked like the Star Wars credits. It just kept rolling. I was like, Jade, goodness gracious.
Capital One was on there like 12 times.
I didn't know you could legally have that many student loans and credit cards open at once. I'm like, what are lenders thinking, giving people more money?
Okay, it shouldn't be legal, but they do it. I can't believe these fools were loaning us money because we were only making $30,000. It's not like we had this giant income.
They're always so happy when they give you the debt. They're never happy when they go to collect it and you're not paying. It's funny how that works.
I know, that's right.
So free yourself.
Free your mind.
That's what it comes down to. From the hand of the hunter, as the Bible says.
That's right.
Deliver yourself.
Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter. That's what you got to do. You got to move with intensity, and you can do it. That does it for this hour of the show. George, it was nice hosting next to you.
Good times.
We'll see you real soon because we got another hour coming up. This is The Ramsey Show. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jade. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio. It's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money. I am your host, Jade Borshaw, joined by George Camel, the illustrious. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. There it is.
It's a real tongue twister.
It really kind of is. Actually, it's not. I just messed it up.
Thanks for being real, Jade. You're such a real one.
You know, I try to just keep it real with the people. Give us a call. We'll take your call, talk about your life and money. And we're going to do that with Jeffrey. He's in Charleston, West Virginia. What's going on, Jeffrey?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
No problem. What's going on?
I guess just kind of feeling overwhelmed. I recently started listening to you guys and just looking at our debt and honestly just probably scared. I'm a pastor and then I'm also a chaplain, so I work 2 jobs there, and then I also have another job. I have my wife and I, we have around 12,000 in credit cards, and I have just under 80,000 in student loans. Mm-hmm. And then of course we have our house as well. But I guess I'm just
is it just the student loans?
Where to get started?
Is it the student loans coming back that's got you feeling some type of way?
Well, and so maybe I'm crazy too, but I'm currently finishing my master's degree right now, which I've cash flowed
Great.
The whole time. So all of those loans are from my bachelor's degree, which was crazy, and I wish somebody would have told me that to begin with. But I should have that finished up next year. But yeah, I'm starting to look at it saying I will have to pay these back, and just realizing we're like one catastrophe away from not knowing what to do.
Well, what do you have in savings?
About $1,200.
Okay. And is your wife working outside the home?
No, and she has a lot of health issues, and so like we can pretty well bank on after our insurance, we will pay $6,000 up front to meet our catastrophic cap every year. Wow. So she's not actually able to work.
Oh my goodness!
We just know that's coming up again in January as well. And
you guys have kids?
Just 2.
Okay. And are they older? Are they in school? They're childcare?
They're getting ready to be teenagers, and my wife homeschools them.
Okay.
but I'm also looking ahead to them going to college and realizing we don't have a whole lot of time, and I do not want them to take out student loans.
Yeah.
Can I ask? This might sound strong, but it's just a question. I've got 2 kids. They're 3 and 5, and they're a handful. I used to stay at home with them, and I also used to work from home. I wonder, you said your wife's got health issues, but she's homeschooling kids and taking care of them. That's such a big job, and it requires so much energy and so much work. It makes me wonder if there is something that she could do to earn money that might honestly be a little bit less work on her physically. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Am I way off base by even suggesting that?
She definitely could not work a typical job, just with, literally appointments almost every day. There's a lot of chronic health issues.
Okay.
And so, I will chip in with the homeschooling, as well as my in-laws will help out with the homeschooling.
Okay, I see.
So it's kind of a team effort.
Cool.
Okay, I just wanted to check and float that out there in the most respectful way possible.
We're just digging to find some options for you to help you climb out of this thing. So what is the household income?
After taxes and insurance, everything, I bring home right around $5,200 a month.
Okay, good.
That's good.
And we've got $92,000 of debt staring us down.
Mm-hmm.
So have you started following the Ramsey baby steps and looking at the debt snowball and listing them out and seeing kind of what your timeline looks like to get rid of this debt?
I've started listing some of this out. I haven't really... honestly, when I started listing it out,
it's overwhelming.
Became overwhelming.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
I feel that. Years back, before my husband and I got out of debt, I'm just going to tell you a quick little story time. I had remembered hearing about Dave Ramsey, and I went to pick up the book, The Total Money Makeover, because I thought this will help us. And of course, in the book, they tell you to start listing your debt, listing your income. And I was so excited getting the book, but by the time I'd actually done all of the things, listing our income, listing our debt, I felt just like, I'm never going to get out of this, because you see that reality staring you in the face. But I promise you, if you keep going and keep doing the things that the plan says, that will start to turn around, because you're going to see something that you can do today, no matter how small. And then you're going to see something that you can do tomorrow, no matter how small. And those little things that you do are going to start to add up to a big impact. And you are going to look back on this, and this debt is going to be gone. It might take 3 years. It might take 5 years. It took my husband and I 7.5 years, Jeffrey, to make this happen. And so I know that the same can happen for you, and you'll probably do it much quicker, because we had $460,000 of debt.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that gives you a little bit of hope in this moment. If I'm you, my A1 is I'm getting on a budget. Are you using a budget yet?
I just came up with a budget in Excel spreadsheet the other day.
Okay, good. And when you do that budget, how much margin is left to throw at debt?
Above the minimum payments.
I'm not looking at it right now, but probably at least, I would say at least 1,000, but I think I could probably squeeze more out of that.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's
Great
good.
Now, what's your mortgage payment every month?
$1,020.
All right, so you're good there.
That's reasonable comparatively to your income. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything that's just crushing the budget right now. But the fact that you've got $1,000 to throw extra gives me some hope here, because that's at least $12,000 a year, right? So we start just doing the math. We're like, all right,
the credit cards are gone in a year.
A while. Yeah, credit cards are gone a year. Are you going to get an increase in income from this master's?
Maybe at my chaplain job.
What was the purpose of getting it?
I just kind of always wanted to have that and was trying to set myself up for the future. And then I ended up a few years into it and realized I only have a couple classes left. And so I don't want to not finish it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is I'm only going to keep it real with you. This is going to require a deep level of sacrifice. And this is probably going to require working like you've never worked before. And that's all I can tell you. You are going to pay this debt off, and it is not going to be without sacrifice. And that's kind of the mindset that you have to have going through this. You're going to sacrifice to win. You're going to work more hours than you've ever wanted to work. You're going to cut your budget leaner than you've ever wanted to do it, but you can do that. And it will be so worth it when you're on the other side of this. In the meantime, I want you to go to RamseySolutions.com/student loans, get some information there about what's going on with your student loans, get some hope there. And if you're interested in every dollar, we've got that on the line for you. So don't go away after this call. Our phone screen will pick up for you. This is The Ramsey Show.
It's a competitive home buying market, but there's a way you can get an edge. Churchill Mortgage works with you to understand your budget and your goals. And the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge offers you fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus, Churchill has bumped up their seller guarantee to $10,000, giving your offer the best chance of being accepted and helping you win in today's market. Go to ChurchillMortgage.com today to learn more.
You're listening to The Ramsey Show, a show where we take calls every day, basically Monday through Friday, George, and we help people with the hardest things that they're facing, not just financially. We find a lot of times that when there's issues with money, it starts penetrating into many other areas in their life.
It gets personal real quick, and
Yes,
it starts
it
touching
does.
relationships and emotions and career and past mistakes and baggage and family boundaries or lack thereof. And man, money's just all tied up in that.
It's all tied up in that. And we love helping people sort that out. So if you want to talk with us, give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225, and we will do just that. George, something very exciting is going on. We do this every once in a while, and it is our cash giveaway.
Oh, I love giving away Dave Ramsey's money because, you know, he's not hurting.
My
he'll
guy
be
is
okay.
good. He's
But we
good.
can bless some people, and we get to be a part of that. I call that a win.
I know, that is a win-win. We're giving away your chance weekly, guys. We're giving away $500 every single week. And then at the end, there's a grand prize of $3,000. You can do a little bit. That's a little bag, George.
And let me tell you,
$3,000.
your chances of winning this way better than the Powerball. So, yeah, you won't be a billionaire.
No.
But people actually win this stuff.
They win it. And I think sometimes people are like, oh, I'll never win. So they don't enter. But real people win this money. Look, you can enter every single day. And then, like I said, they draw a winner every week. You get $500. And then if you get to the end and they draw your name, you would get $3,000. Okay, that's RamseySolutions.com/cash giveaway. And
just giveaway, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Giveaway.
/giveaway. That's right,
we made
George.
it easy on them. We're like, less typing.
Yeah, that's right. What was I talking about? And while you're over there, you can also get best-selling books like The Total Money Makeover, some classics like From Paycheck to Purpose, and one of my favorites, Own Your Past, Change Your Future. And those books are on sale, guys, on the low, $12. While you're at it, you can go on ahead and pre-order Dr. John Deloney's new book coming out, Building a Non-Anxious Life. That is a must. If you don't do nothing else, make sure you go over there and pre-order that book today. If you do so, you'll end up with $75 in free bonus items.
That's a money-making scheme, Jade.
Come on now. If it's free, it's for you and me. I'll take some of that too. Also, you can go on there. There's those Questions for Humans cards. If you do not have a deck of Questions for Humans cards, you're missing out. They're so great. They're so fun. Friends, family, couples, there's all sorts of different editions there. They're on sale for $12 right now, as well at RamseySolutions.com/store is where you would find that. So be sure to check out those two spots, RamseySolutions.com/giveaway to get the cash, and then RamseySolutions.com/store to get the stuff that's on sale. All right, George, what we got?
Well, I've been seeing this trend, and it's entertaining, to say the least. And it can be bothersome, but my wife related to it when she saw it, and it's called girl dinner.
Girl dinner.
And there is a money tie here, although you may not think so. And so let me explain girl dinner, because I had to wrap my brain around it.
Yes.
Because it's just videos of girls saying, hey, I'm eating a piece of salami and cheese and a cracker. Girl dinner. And I was like, what is happening?
Yes, George, you explain girl dinner for the people.
I had to look this up. Like, this is from a CBS News article. This catchphrase was first used to describe a no cooking required collection of items like bread, cheese, fruit, and other odds and ends for dinner.
Okay.
So it's basically when you're like, I don't feel like cooking, I'm just going to kind of snack and call that a dinner.
I'm with that. It's like foraging.
Exactly. Now, dietitians are obviously upset here because they're like, women are underfeeding themselves. Like, they need to have a more sustaining meal. There needs to be more nutrients and nutrition. So I get it. If you're living a lifestyle where it's just girl dinner every night, that could be bad.
I feel like girl dinner could be a well-balanced meal because, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I go in the refrigerator, I open it up, I kind of like this idea. Well, at least what I've seen of it, because at the crux of it is they're just eating what they have at the house.
Exactly.
They're not going out and going, I could really go for a Chef Boyardee. They're just eating what they already have. So it's like you open up the fridge. What do I find in there? A piece of salami. Well, not in my fridge, but okay, a piece of cheese. I go in the cabinet. There's a couple of Ritz crackers.
I don't know what you're eating these days.
There's a jackfruit in there. Maybe there's one pickle left. Go ahead and eat that one pickle. Don't let it go to the waste. Like, I like that idea. And if you put enough things on your plate, you'll get full. And there's probably some protein. There's probably some good carbs on there.
That's true. That's fair.
So, George...
But I've seen my wife do this where she's like, yeah. I'm like, well, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? She's like, I'm fine. I'm like, well, I got to eat. And she's like,
I got to eat.
I had a girl dinner. I had some snacks. I'm like, well, I guess that makes one of us.
No,
Where's boy dinner at? All right? I need my hungry man frozen meal.
I got to eat. I have big bones and they need to eat. And here's the thing, like, I get so much joy, George, from finishing an item of food that I bought. Like, when you have a jar of pickles and you finish it, you know what I mean? It doesn't go bad. You actually finish the jar. Or like, or there's leftovers in there and it's like you've been eating spaghetti for 4 days and you just go on ahead and finish it. Like, that gives me a feeling of like, all right, I've done something really good here with my life.
Such an overachiever, Jade.
You know?
The kind, I go to Trader Joe's and I am aspirationally buying a bag of kale, knowing full well and good that I'm going to throw this bag of kale away unopened in 5 days.
No, I think that there is something at the core of this that we can all take away financially, which is it's really easy on the weekend, right? It's Saturday. That's when a lot of folks do their grocery shopping. And it's like, okay, it's Saturday. That is like automatic. It's time for me to go to the store. But there's probably food at the house that you can eat. And
like Mama always said, there's food at home.
There's food at home. And my thing is like, do not go to the grocery store and start buying a bunch of food until you do inventory of what you already have. You might be able to make a girl dinner or something a little bit better with what you already have. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of like the idea. I think there's a video of, James, do you guys have a video?
Can we play one of these videos? They're overly...
The crew's been waiting with bated breath to play this
let's
video.
play one of these videos to give these people an idea. I'm so
This
nervous.
is my meal. I call this girl dinner.
Girl dinner. Girl dinner. Oh, wow.
That was... Okay, so if you weren't watching on YouTube, you're lucky, because that was a wine glass filled with mac and cheese with a chicken tender hanging off.
That should have been a kid dinner. Right? That's a kid dinner. That's not a... Look, those chicken nuggets were in the shape of dinosaurs, so that's what I would call a kid dinner. That's not what I was thinking about. I'm thinking about like...
There was a lot going on there visually, and then just audibly, it was jarring. It was I was like, I have sensory issues after hearing that.
No, when I think of a girl dinner, I'm thinking charcuterie. Like, this is just, we're putting crackers,
If you're going to do that, you want to try this at home this weekend. You at least one protein, so meat, hard-boiled eggs, cheese, maybe chicken salad, some smoked salmon, something colorful, some fruits and veggies for some fiber, and then something fun. They say crackers, olives, pickles can add some flavor. And then lastly, make sure it's a proper helping, you know.
This is charcuterie. Why are they acting like this is new?
I don't know.
George, let's tell these people our idea, because our idea is better.
What's
our
idea?
Which is you just go in the refrigerator and what you have, you eat. You don't have to go out and check those boxes, because then what's the point? You don't have to go check the boxes.
Most people, the way they grocery shop, it would be like you getting in your car and then just driving around aimlessly wasting gas. And then wondering why you didn't get anywhere. You got to have a destination. That's why meal planning, having a list, avoid the end caps. The floor is lava. Let's get out of there. In and out. Nobody saw you.
That's right.
That's how it should be with grocery shopping, instead of just willy-nilly choosing random things that look interesting, and then you get home and you realize, I didn't get any food.
That's right. And let me add one layer deeper, because this is my favorite thing. Folks are always like, Jade, how do you not go over your grocery budget? I'm like, I just bring the cash. I take the plastic out of the wallet. Y'all know I don't have credit cards, but I take my debit card. I don't bring it. If I'm trying to really do right, I put the cash in the envelope, George, and that's the only thing I'm bringing. And do you want to know what you can't do when you only have the right amount of cash?
Buy more than you've bargained for.
Come on. And you want to know what? You are going to have to, unless you bring a calculator, you're going to have to embrace the fact that when it hits $200, if that's all the cash you have, and they go ahead and scan that box of Keebler Elves and it puts you $4 over, do you want to know what you have to say? Can you take that one off?
And people behind you are like, what's going on here?
Those shameful words, can you take? That's why you go to the self-checkout, and then you don't have to say the shameful words.
No
you just
shame.
take it off your darn self, and it's all good.
There's one blessing of self-checkout.
That's right.
I got to figure out where the little barcode is on a lime. I'm stressing out. Can't handle that.
You got to start memorizing those numbers. 4011, that's the number for bananas. It'll always be locked in my brain.
I can't remember my own cell phone number at this point, Jade.
This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, being free to make your own medical decisions is a big deal these days. Christian Healthcare Ministries gives members the freedom to choose the doctors and providers they want, without the frustration of worrying about networks and with no waiting period to join. It's a membership-based nonprofit ministry where hundreds of thousands of Christians share funds to pay for and pray for each other's medical bills. For over 40 years, CHM has helped families living across all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Check out more today at chministries.org/budget.
All right, everybody, you are listening to The Ramsey Show. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw. I am joined by George Camel, co-hosting today. Guys, thank you so much for giving us calls, man, for calling in, trusting us with your deepest, darkest money situations. That is an honor we do not take lightly. So thank you for doing that. Continue to call in, and we will continue to help you as best as we can. George, it is hard to believe, but it is back to school season. Can you believe it?
What is going on with the South? When I grew up, it was like after Labor Day, we're going back to school in the Northeast.
Thank you.
Kids are in school already in the first week of August?
I'm shook. I took my son today. He's going to be a kindergartner. Took him to do his placement test today, and I was like, I can't believe school is starting already.
Yeah, I saw the kids in my neighborhood with the little, like, chalkboard, first day of school.
Yes.
I'm like, this is precious. We didn't have that growing up, Jade.
No, we didn't.
It's a modern luxury with the letterboards.
It really is, but that time of year is here, and teachers and students across the country are heading back to that classroom and to honor the heroes that we call teachers, George. We have one of our incredible foundations in personal finance. That's the curriculum here at Ramsey. But we've got a teacher here on the show with us today who is a teacher of foundations in personal finance. It's Eunice, and he's with us all the way from Chowchilla, California. So let's talk to him. What's going on, Eunice? Thanks for being with us today.
Hey guys. So happy to be with you, George. I feel like I know you. I've seen you in my course daily.
Oh, on the TV screen.
To you lately.
I appreciate that.
That's right, because George you're teaching.
I host the curriculum, and so they see me every single video, and then I also do some teaching, and I love getting messages from students that are going through it, and they're like, dude, you're the guy from the, you remember watching videos in school growing up.
Yes.
And so I feel like a minor Z-list celebrity.
You're like
anytime.
the guy from Reading Rainbow.
Just like that. I'm nowhere near LeVar Burton. But hey, it's such an honor to have you.
Yes.
You're a hero to us, and how long have you been teaching foundations now?
2 years.
Wow.
2 years. Originally, the idea, I pitched it before COVID, and my school was on board. but then we know what happened, right?
That's right.
Especially California, man.
Whole deal. Yeah.
Wow.
So how many students do you have enrolled in your curriculum now? How many are you teaching?
This year, I'm actually going to have more. So it's going to be 5 periods. And on average, it's 30 students per period.
Oh, wow.
And they're all seniors. So really, it's the whole senior class.
That's incredible.
They have access to this.
Well, and it's getting real for them now. They're actually thinking about like, oh gosh, like I'm working. I got money. I got bills to pay. I got college coming up. I want to upgrade the car. I got to pay for my own insurance. So they're leaning into everything.
They are. I've taught many courses, as everybody knows in my school, but this is probably the first time I'm teaching a course where every student is 100% engaged, because like you said, it is their life. They know they can apply everything they learned the moment they step out of the classroom.
I love that.
And they're like, man, I'm so glad I'm learning this instead of calculus. And, you know, when the war of 1812
you can actually use this in your everyday life.
Absolutely. And I heard, Eunice, that you do this crazy activity with the students about learning how to pay cash for cars and all kinds of stuff. What is this activity you run them through?
Again, I like doing things outside the box. So I see the course, I like the content, but how can I make that even closer to my students? And Chowchilla is a very small town, so access to outside information is very valuable to us and all that. So I do this activity where I tell students to make a 5 to 8 minute video, and it can be a multitude of areas, but one of those is to go out to a dealership or a furniture store or whatever it is that usually has something to purchase that you can actually apply for a loan to get, and ask some hard questions. So they go out there with some of them come up with questions that surprise me when I see the video later. But yeah, going to a dealership, that is incredible. They ask questions. They say, wait, you can sell me that car? And most of the time they say, yes, we can.
I love that. So you're like, you guys are going to get out here. You guys are going to get hands-on experience.
They're learning about the traps.
You are, yes.
Face to face.
One particular student that asked, he kept digging. He kept saying, wait, so you're telling me if a family comes here and they can't afford that car, what would you tell them? Well, if they're looking for that car, they probably need that car. And he's like, no, what if they don't need that sports car? So he kept asking these questions, and all the students were so curious to what the answers are going to be. And obviously the outcome here is, if you want something in today's day and age, you can get it. But are you going to be owning it, or are you going to be just borrowing it until you can't afford it, and then you have to return it and feel even worse than you started?
That's right. The borrower is slave to the lender. Man, Eunice, thanks for hanging out with us. We love what you're doing. You are changing lives by teaching this curriculum. Again, the curriculum is Foundations in Personal Finance. And if you're interested in learning more about that or how you can bring it to your school or homeschool, you can go to RamseySolutions.com/education. Thank you again, Eunice, for chatting with us. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Can you imagine if Eunice was our teacher in high school? I mean, my life would be so different.
Come on now. It would have changed everything. I read a stat, George, that said 77% of adults said they did not feel prepared for personal finance when they became adults, coming out of school.
The 23% who did, they went through our Foundations in Personal Finance curriculum.
Okay.
Because now it's been out long enough that we're meeting adults who are like, oh yeah, I went through that in high school.
Yeah.
That Ramsey stuff, man, that changed everything.
That's right. It was a need, and we met the need. Let's take some calls. Let's go to Alex. She is in Austin, Texas. What's going on, Alex?
Are you with us,
Hello.
Alex? There she is.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help?
I'm calling because I have a question about how to handle debt that has gone to collection. A little backstory is last year I had a tumor removal surgery, and I took some bad advice from a family member. And the advice was to basically let it go to collection before you begin to pay. But now it has gone to collection, and all of the alarms in my body are going off, and I just want this gone and out of my life. So I was wondering if you guys had any advice on how to approach the situation. I've never been in any debt before, and my goal is just to get it paid off as soon as possible.
How much debt is it, Alex?
It's about $5,000 total.
Okay.
Is that the original bill?
Yes.
Okay. Are
So
there any
were
fees that have been
multiple
added
little
on?
notes. Not that I know of.
Okay. So that's exactly what you owe. How old is this debt?
It went to collection a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So collections paid a tiny amount for that debt. And so if it's just a month old, they may not be willing to negotiate with you or settle, but I would still try, and I would ask for an itemized bill and make sure that what is on that bill is exactly what you actually had done. Have you done that yet?
I have. I reached out. I had heard an old video of something similar, so I asked for a receipt upon arrival, and I got a few of them back from different collectors because they're all in different locations. And so some people responded, and the interesting thing that I noticed is that some of those debts are still active on the hospital website.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if it was better to pay directly to the hospital, even though it had already been sold to a collection agency.
If it's already been sold, you're dealing with the collections agency now. I bet you if you were to call the hospital, they would say, hey, we have record of it, but we're no longer collecting the payment on it. Here's where I'm at. Like you said, your body is telling you, I owe somebody money. You're feeling the anxiety of this. You're feeling the stress of it. How quickly could you just pay this off?
I could reasonably call them this week and have it done.
So why are you not doing that?
So you have the money to pay for it today?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're being scammed in some way, or that this shouldn't cost this? Do you feel like you were overcharged or mischarged? Because if this is what you owe, I'm going to go in there today and I'm going to pay this bad boy off. That's what I would do.
And get everything in writing. I'm done with this thing. You owe what you owe, and it sucks, and we're not going to do it again. But just call and make sure you get it in writing and say, hey, this is paid in full. I'm done with you guys once I pay this amount. Do not give them access to your checking account.
That's right. That's such a good word, George, especially if you do call and you do make some sort of deal. Get that in writing forever. Keep it in a folder. Never get rid of it. But I would just not even fool with it and pay that bad boy off.
Don't lose any more sleep over it.
This is The Ramsey Show. Give us a call. We'll take it. 888-825-5225 is the number. And we've got Mir in Chicago, Illinois. What's going on, Mir?
Hey, guys. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
How can we help today?
Yep. So about 7 years ago, I filed bankruptcy, Chapter 7, because I had a lot of credit card debt totaling about like $50,000 just in my name. My wife had another like $3,000. I paid that off. But 7 years ago, it was just bad decisions on my credit card, and I just filed bankruptcy because I thought I had no other option. And that ended last year. So we were finally able to buy a house, and we just bought a house about 2 months ago. And my credit card debt is back up. It's just bad decisions again. So my wife, because since I already filed bankruptcy, I wasn't able to get approved for a lot of credit cards. But right now I have about $16,000 in my credit card debt, and my wife has about $22,000.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, and we're just in like a really bad position right now. I think I'm going to get laid off from my job in December, because that's what the company is like. That's what they're sounding like. They're going to lay everybody off in December. They're just shutting down.
What kind of company is it?
It's called Sonova. It's a hearing aid company. I just work in the warehouse in the factory.
So you know this layoff is coming. Have you started looking for other jobs?
Not yet. but I am going to start like this month or next month.
Okay.
But so we just, so like I was saying, we bought a house and that is about $220,000.
Okay.
We have mortgage left, $220,000.
What's the mortgage? What do you pay every month?
Around $1,900, so $2,000 almost.
Okay. Cars? Do you have car payments or anything like that?
No, all of my cars are paid off. I paid those off as fast as I can.
Okay. No student loans, nothing like that?
No, nothing.
Okay. Hey, what's going on with these credit cards? Why are you back down the same road that led to bankruptcy? What's going on there?
Just bad decisions with like new furniture for the house, just everything on credit cards because we don't have cash.
What are you earning? Household income combined, you and your wife?
My wife doesn't work, but so last year we got approved for a house because I was making around $50,000 a year.
50?
But since $50,000 last year, but since like the company is like shutting down and like they're slowly removing lots of employees, this year I'm projected to make around $35,000.
Okay, but you're also getting another job. We're not gonna
We're not waiting around until December to see what happens.
Yeah, and your income's already starting to go down. Why isn't your wife working?
Yeah. She's old. She used to work as a nurse, but
what do you mean she's old? How old is she?
55.
That's old?
She's not old. She's not old.
And she's broke. Y'all are broke. She's going to be working until she's 75 at this point if you don't change something.
Hold on. Question. Does she have money? Are you guys combining your finances?
No, she doesn't make any money. It's just
do you guys have anything in savings?
I made were on my wife's credit card, yeah.
Is there anything in savings?
No.
All right. I am holding back a little bit of frustration with you here. Your wife's got to work. That's number one. Number two, you've got to get moving, my guy. You're heading down. You're literally looking at the map from your bankruptcy and you're taking that same path now. And this is your wake-up call to get off of it. You guys got to get on a budget. You've got $50,000 of income. Your wife's going to go out. She's going to get a job. I don't care what it is. She's getting something in the next couple of weeks, and that is going to lead to the next something. That's what she really wants to do. But no matter what, she's got to get income coming in. You've got to get your income up with this next job, and you guys have got to get a clue, turn into the adults that you are, and stop buying things you can't afford. It's that simple. You guys are out here just spending and buying furniture and going to dinner and trying to keep up a lifestyle that's not yours, dude. And at what cost? It's not worth it. Who cares how nice of a couch you have? You're feeling this pain of debt. You've already walked through bankruptcy. Is it worth it? It's not worth it.
Amir, you called today because I feel like you're on the brink of ready to change, but you're not quite there yet. And so if you really want to change, you've got to have anger towards your situation. And right now, you're just kind of like, I might get laid off. My wife's not working. She's just too old, and we'll figure it out. But, man, I really don't like having this debt. You're going to be headed toward another bankruptcy soon if nothing changes. You're going to lose the house. If nothing, you're not going to have a house to put a couch in. Because they're going to take away that house in foreclosure when you lose your job or you're making $35,000 and can't pay your $2,000 a month mortgage. So it's time to cut up the cards. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You're like a recovering alcoholic who has the fridge stocked with alcohol, and then you're wondering why you can't make traction. We've got to remove the temptation and ability to spend more than we make.
Yeah. How does your wife feel about this? Is she like, hey, it's time to change? Have you guys had this conversation, or is this you kind of, poking around online and finding the Ramsey Show? Tell me more about that.
So my son actually told me about the Ramsey Show. I thought I might just give it a call, see what advice I can get.
Yeah.
She's very frustrated with me, too, because she doesn't earn any money. It's just her credit cards that I'm spending all the expenses on. And she doesn't want her credit report to go bad.
Who cares about the freaking credit report?
Yeah. You guys y'all are focused on the wrong thing.
We're way beyond that, my man.
Your credit score, your credit cards, all that talk, all that mentality is out the window. From now on, we buy things in cash, right? We buy things that we can afford. Step one today is you guys getting on a budget. That's numero uno. You can start that tonight. That's the good thing about a budget, George. You don't have to, it's not something that's in the future. Do that tonight. A2 is we're starting to look for jobs for both of you. Like, we're getting that train going. We're not waiting around. Is there a reason that your wife is not working aside from the fact that you guys
her
have
elderly
both
age
deemed
of
her
55.
as old?
No, she used to work as a nurse, and she got like really arthritis in her knees. She can't walk that much. She can't stand.
Is she on disability?
My son, no.
She can get a desk job. I mean, we sit all day.
I sit too much.
Could she work in a hospital setting, sitting down, in a different position?
Can she do teledoc nursing? There's options. We can split hairs about there are options out there. What I'm concerned is I think you guys are cutting yourselves out. I think you're counting yourselves out, and you're so busy trying to use credit cards that you're not giving yourself credit that you actually have the ability to go out there. You guys are smart. You can earn money. You guys have the ability to control your finances. You do not need credit cards to do the things that you want to do on an everyday basis. It turns out, George, you can actually buy a couch in cash. You know what I'm saying? So I think for you guys, this is just digging deep and getting to the root of why. It's the why. Because something tells me right now, I can tell you about budgets all day. I can tell you about the debt snowball all day. But until you get to the root of why you are the way that you are, the famous words of Michael Scott, why are you the way you are? You're going to keep doing this. This is going to be an endless cycle. And so for you, I really want you to dig deep on this. Sit down with your wife, really have that come to Jesus moment of like, look, we got to change. We got to do something different, or else we're going to file bankruptcy again.
Please don't do this. And Mira, we're going to help you out. On top of giving you 1 year of every dollar, I'm going to gift you guys 1 year of Financial Peace University. Watch all 9 lessons. Do the budget. Do all the steps we teach in that before you go make another dumb decision. And cut up the cards today. It's done. And you got to get on board. Otherwise, you guys are going to be right back where you were 7 years ago. And I'm more angry than you are at this point. That's a problem.
It is a problem.
Hang on the line. We'll get you guys the help that you need.
Got to get that mind right. It's imperative to get your money mind right. That does it for this hour of the show. You're listening to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions and broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money. This is where we build actual amazing relationships as well. I love it. I'm your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by George Camel, about to be
a dad.
Yes!
Oh my gosh, Jade, thanks for the reminder.
I know, it's
Existential
coming.
crisis. Yeah, this is baby month. So
this is baby month.
Pray for us.
You're doing good. You're here. You're focused.
Well, the dads are kind of like useless up until, other than just supporting mom the whole time, and then baby's here, and then I'm ready.
That's right.
I'm ready to change some diapers.
Whew. So get at him while you still can. The number is 888-825-5225.
While I'm still sleeping somewhat well.
Yes, tap into this delicate genius sitting right next to me. He's
so delicate.
Ever so delicate. Like I said, the number is 888-825-5225. And we will get into it. We got Mark in Denver, Colorado. What's going on, Mark?
Hi, good afternoon. It's an honor to speak with you.
You too. What's going on?
I'm actually not in Denver, Colorado. I'm actually close to Gary, Indiana. I'm an over-the-road truck driver, a long-haul trucker.
Cool.
Can't pin Mark down.
I got a question. What is your opinion or your thoughts on the current trend of the micro houses? I'm working the steps. I'm in step 2, paying off debt. I went through a divorce last year. I basically haven't had a place of my own now in almost 2 years. When I am ready to buy a place, it's just going to be me by myself. I'm single, no kids, no nothing. So I'm wondering if a micro home, depending on the property it's on or whatnot, do you think it's going to be an appreciating asset in the long run? The other thing is when I'm thinking about buying a home is since I'm gone for 4 to 6 weeks at a time, I really don't think a regular home would be good for me, even a small one, because I'm not going to be able to mow the grass. I'm not going to be able to shovel the snow. I'm not going to be able to take care of it. The only other option I thought that might be good for me would be buying a condo or a townhome.
There you go. And that's kind of where I'm at. I love how you're thinking about this. I love how you're trying to choose the right option for you and your life, your work. That makes sense. It seems like George might go a little further into the tiny house thing.
I have a lot of thoughts.
I'll tell you my initial thought is this is relatively new in the culture, I would say. It's not something that's been around for decades and decades and decades and decades. And so I would prefer to invest in a market that's a little bit more, we know that it's a little bit more stable, a lot more stable, really. So yeah, you're probably not going to be the guy that's got this 4-bedroom house on bunches of acres of land. But I do think that there's a situation that is right for you, whether it's a condo, a townhouse, where you are invested in something that we know is going to go up in value over time. And again, yes, when you have a home, it does serve that purpose, that purpose of, hey, this is a place I go to lay my head. You have the lawn mowing in that side, but there's also this thing where it is a wealth building tool, and it's such a huge part of building your wealth over time. And of course, it's keeping your biggest monthly line item stable, right? We don't want you renting forever because rent just goes up and it's always fluctuating and changing. So that's kind of the argument I have.
My concern about renting is I don't know if it would be worth it for me to rent a place for the time being, because like I said, we started divorce proceedings in March 2 years ago. My wife had COVID real bad. She was in the hospital. I had a month off, and then after that, things just kind of fell apart. But so it's been since Christmas 2 years ago before I've actually had my own place.
Where have you been staying?
I've been staying and using a friend's address in Colorado.
Okay.
Typically when I go home, like I said, I usually work 4 to 6 weeks, a month and a half at a time. I'll go home for like a week. I'll take a week off, and I'll spend 1 or 2 nights with my brother and his family. Okay. And the rest of the time, I'll usually find an inexpensive hotel to spend 3, 4, or 4 or 5 nights in, and then I go back to work.
Yeah, so you're just rolling. Yeah, okay.
And I don't know if the renters market, housing market in Colorado is just unreal right now.
Yeah.
And a studio, small 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
And when I go home, I'm only spending $600, $700, $800 every 6 weeks on a hotel room.
I think for you,
so it's like cost benefits analysis. It doesn't fit me. But the other thing is working for a month and a half at a time in a semi-truck, you're in your truck. I basically live in this thing, and a lot of truckers do. We basically live in our trucks.
I mean, you've got the options you've got in front of you you're in baby step 2. So even if you wanted to buy a home right now, I would say let's get out of debt first. So that kind of shelves and tables that. And if you decide,
I figure I'll be out of debt by February or March of next year.
Excellent. That's great. And then you can kind of start saving up and see what happens next. But in the meantime, what you're talking about, my husband and I used to work in entertainment for cruise lines, and we would travel like 52 or like 35 weeks out of the year. So there was this thing of like, we're never home. And so we got the cheapest townhome that we could find, which happened to be one that his mom was renting out. And then we got roommates to cut that in half. So it was like, okay, now this is more like it. We're paying like $600 a month. We're only there sometimes. So I think you can get creative and find the right situation where it's like, okay, I'm not overpaying, but I'm also not getting into something that's too expensive for my purposes.
Yeah, I don't think a tiny house, micro house is the right move for a whole lot of reasons. Number one, you need the land that it sits on, which is expensive. You need all kinds of permits. You need to build the thing, and it's way more expensive than you think, and it depreciates in value. because there's just not demand for it. Even if it's on a foundation, it still won't increase much in value because there's just simply not much demand. So I don't want you sinking all this money into this thing and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't even want to live here anyways. So for a lot of reasons, don't do it. I actually did a whole video on this exact topic on tiny homes on my YouTube channel called The Only Way to Afford a Home, ? Where I dive into this for about 9 minutes in detail. So go watch that for my full answer. The solution, I think, for you is my friend in Chattanooga rents out a room in his house to a guy who does he's kind of travel nursing. So he's there 1 week out of the month. Mm-hmm. And he rents to him cheaply in the other room.
Yeah.
And it's a great situation. So I would either find a situation like that or just keep doing the hotel thing. I mean, your life as a vagrant is just wild right now. So it doesn't make sense to plant roots until you have the money to where you can afford to take the hit of just paying that small mortgage payment every month on a condo, just so you have somewhere to lay your head you can call your own.
Yeah.
So,
and again,
and that's kind of the thing that what I was thinking is I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and work through a year from now to be able to finish paying off my debt, hopefully by the end of the year. And then one last thing, I should be all done by February or March. Mm-hmm. And then, I have no expenses.
Yeah.
Other than
that's a blessing. So let's build a small emergency fund.
Here on the road. That's why I'm aggressively attacking my debt right now.
That's right. And you're doing the right thing. You're aggressively attacking the debt. Like you said, it's going to be gone by next year, March, April. You're going to build up that savings, and then you can start looking at building up savings for a condo. And again, it's not just to have a place to lay your head. It's because you're stabilizing that biggest line item on your budget, which is housing. And eventually you'll be able to use that to build some wealth. This is The Ramsey Show.
Well, you've all played the telephone game. The first person whispers a message to the second person, who whispers it to the third, and so on around the table until the original message has completely changed. Multiply that confusion by 100 if you run a business with different software systems that don't talk to each other. That's why there's NetSuite by Oracle. In the early days of Ramsey, we were using different systems for all of our business units. We needed one single source for accurate data. NetSuite was the software we used to optimize and take us to the next level. NetSuite gave us the visibility into all of our numbers so that we could communicate across departments and plan ahead better. And as we grew, it scaled with us. NetSuite worked for Ramsey, and it will make a difference for your business too. Join the more than 34,000 customers who trust NetSuite to help make them smarter and make better decisions and level up their operations. To learn more, get a free product tour at netsuite.com/Ramsey. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Jade Warshaw. This is George Camel. Hey, if you're a new listener and you want to dive deeper into the Ramsey baby steps, what am I talking about? You hear us all the time. Callers call in, and we're giving them advice based off of just a format, a set of principles, a plan that we have here. It's based on 7 baby steps, and that's what we're talking about. And if you're like, Jade, y'all are saying things I don't know what it is, head over to RamseySolutions.com and click on that Get Started button. There will help you figure out your best next step for your particular financial journey based on exactly where you're at today. And you'll get all that lingo explained. Hopefully you'll be inspired by it, and you'll start doing it. That's what we hope for you. But that's RamseySolutions.com, and click the Get Started button. That's the thing, George. We talk about a lot of things that's, we use terminology and some lingo that's like, what are you saying, Gazelle Intense? What is
inside
happening?
baseball.
Yeah. But
once you hear it, like, oh, that makes sense. It's all common sense. We don't try to use $10 words for fun. We put the cookies, not even on the bottom shelf, on the floor.
I know that's right.
Because money is already complicated and stressful.
Yes.
We don't need to be talking like I'm a guy with suits on.
Yeah.
With all my accounting jargon.
Yeah, back in the day, that was the
not for
thing
me.
that was the thing that led me in. Is I was like, okay, this is for the commoner.
Yeah, that's why Dave is so
This is for me.
successful. He brought personal finance to the masses and went, you don't have to be a financial expert and have a degree.
Yeah,
I'm gonna help you figure this out.
I don't want anybody to make me feel silly about my questions. All right, so the Ramsey Show question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services. Neighborly is the place to find reliable help for your home from trusted, locally owned businesses like Mr. Appliance, Mr. Handyman, and Precision Garage Door Service. I need that. Visit neighborly.com today to find home experts available to serve you.
Today's question comes from Holly in Utah. She says, I'm 23 and I'm a recent college grad. I'm currently working, making $50,000 a year, and I graduated without debt and currently have $20,000 in savings. My monthly rent is $700 a month, and my car is paid for. My question is, how should I be investing my money at this stage of my life? Way to go, Holly. I'm impressed.
Excellent.
I was waiting for there to be like a giant conundrum here.
I know. Waiting
This
for
is
the
a
ball
great
to drop.
problem to have.
Mm-hmm.
But she's got no debt. She's got the emergency fund, making $50K at 23. We are ready to invest, that's for sure.
Let's go. So how does she do that?
Well, the simplest way, here's my 5-word investing strategy is you just go, okay, if I can remember this, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Match beats Roth, beats traditional. And so you just use that filter to go, okay, do I have a retirement plan through my employer?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great place to go. Generally, a lot of employers have a match.
That's great.
So it might be, hey, we have a 3% match, which means if you put in 3%, they're going to put in 3%. That is a 100% return on your investment. So we take that first.
Mm-hmm.
Then beyond the match, we're going to look at all of our Roth options. So generally, a lot of people may have a Roth 401k. That's a great place. You can just fill out the whole 15% there.
That's great.
And that's baby step 4, which is where Holly's at. Invest 15% of your income into retirement. Now, a lot of people say, hey, I don't have a Roth 401k. Well, you probably have access to a Roth IRA, which is outside of an employer. A lot of people get those confused. The 401k, IRA, what's the difference? Just remember, 401k is through your employer. IRA is outside of your employer.
That's very good.
And so that's a great place to go next.
I love that.
Once you've maxed out your Roth IRA, you've exhausted all the Roth options, you can go back to that tax-deferred plan, which means Roth is after-tax money that grows tax-free. The tax-deferred plan is, hey, I'm not paying taxes on it now, but I will when I withdraw it in retirement.
Yeah, so you can circle back to your traditional
So it's that
401k.
simple. Now, it's good to note that these accounts are just shells.
Yes.
Your 401k, you got to actually buy something inside of that in order to be investing. So we recommend growth stock mutual funds, spreading that across 4 different types to keep them balanced. And I've got a whole video walking people through this on my YouTube channel called Investing for Beginners that we uploaded about a month ago, where I walk them through this because it can get complicated. And it's like, well, how do I choose the mutual funds and what are the 4 types and what's all this stuff about diversification and compound growth? It can feel overwhelming.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons we suggest working with a SmartVestor Pro or somebody who can walk alongside you and help you make these choices.
Just educate you. They're not doing it for you.
Yes.
They're just showing you the path and you go, okay, I know what I want to do.
Yes, and never ever invest in something that you don't understand. If you're like, I don't get it, that's okay. Just wait until you do get it. Keep educating yourself. Keep talking with your SmartVestor Pro, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Look, if somebody makes you feel stupid for the questions you're asking, it's time to move on and find somebody who will have the heart of a teacher and teach you. Hey, let's continue this conversation just a little bit further. So, because there's a lot of things that I thought about when you read that question of the day. Next question I thought is, a lot of people go, okay, I can't invest in a Roth IRA. I make too much money.
Oh, that's a great problem to have, first of all. So the Roth IRA does have income limits. There's a great little backdoor option called the backdoor Roth IRA, where you essentially fund a traditional IRA with after-tax dollars, and then you convert it.
Yep, and it's very fast. It's not something that's like takes forever to do, and it's totally legal.
It is not, it's not this like, well, we found a loophole in the matrix. No, this is
totally legal.
It's the law.
It just sounds sneaky when they say backdoor. It makes it kind of sound like, well,
That's right.
wait a minute. And then George, let's continue it a step further because this is one of those topics.
It gets juicy now.
Yeah, let's teach a little bit. So then you've got that. Let's say that you're just killing it, like you're
maxing out a Roth 401k. You're maxing out an IRA.
Yes. Where do we go next, George? What's next?
Ooh, I think the HSA is one of the greatest life hack investing tools. So that's a health savings account. You're going, wait, what? A health savings account to invest? Yes. you can invest with a health savings account once you meet a certain threshold.
That's
in
right.
Some of these accounts. So ours here at Ramsey, after $1,000, I can begin investing any extra money into the stock market through mutual funds.
Through your HSA.
And you're thinking, but that's not for retirement, it's for healthcare expenses.
Tell them.
Well, once you turn 65, you can withdraw that money for things that are not qualified medical expenses. And it becomes like a traditional 401k at that point.
That's right.
So you will have to pay taxes on that money. Versus using it for qualified medical expenses, you don't have to pay taxes.
That's
so there's
right.
still a benefit to use it for that stuff. And at 65, my joints are going to be aching. I'm going to be dipping into that HSA.
I know that's
But
right.
Dave Ramsey has an HSA, and he doesn't actually use the HSA. He uses it to invest.
It's an investment
and he just
vehicle.
cash flows out of his checking account for any kind of medical expenses.
And
so
the way
that's
I
kind of
do
a life
it-
hack.
Yeah, I love that hack. The way I do it is I keep the deductible liquid, and then you can keep investing from there on. So in case, I don't know, if you're a person who you know you're going to hit your deductible, it's in there. That's kind of a good way to think of it too. Now, George, let's call out the fact that in order to have an HSA, you have to have a high
deductible healthcare plan.
That's right. So-
HDHP.
There you go. And everybody may not have that. So, George, you know where I'm going next. What if I can't get an HSA, George?
Oh, this is exciting.
Where do I go next,
So
buddy?
if you have exhausted all tax advantage retirement options, you can always just open a taxable brokerage account.
What does that mean?
That just means this is not for retirement. This is just for general investing while I'm in my working life. And that money, you use after-tax dollars. You invest it. You'll have to pay taxes on that capital gains. And there's different structures for that depending on how long you left the investment and all of that stuff in your income. But long-term capital gains is your best bet. So if you just leave the money in there, invested for a year, you'll have probably most people 15% is what you'll pay on the gains. So on the appreciation of that money through compound growth. And that can be a great way for those that want to do the FIRE kind of stuff, retire early. You want to retire at 50, but you can't touch your retirement funds until 60. It's a
good bridge.
So for 10 years, it becomes that bridge account. If you've got $500,000 in there and you can live off, 50, 60, 70 a year, that can get you to 60 to when you can start dipping into the other buckets, like the Roth 401k, the traditional IRA, whatever it is. So there's a lot of options out there. And for self-employed folks, they always go, I don't invest because I don't have an employer. No. You have a solo 401k as an option, the SEP IRA is an option, taxable brokerage account, HSA. So
there are so
you're not
many
excused
things.
from investing.
As a matter of fact, you're definitely not excused. You have to be more intentional than the average bird because there's no employer, over your
That's right.
head offering this to you. And it's, you've got to be intentional
It's not
about.
as easy. You got to do some legwork. But the nice thing about those options for self-employed folks is that contribution limits are higher.
Yes, that's right.
So I know there's a lot
Especially with
there.
the solo 401k, you can really get into some good investing there.
Oh, yeah.
This is good.
Juicy stuff. No one ever wants to just chat about investing options, Jade.
I'll ease on down the road of some investing options because I like that. We talk so much about getting out of debt and sacrificing to win. Let's talk about what it feels like to finally get to take some of this money for ourselves, set it aside, let's learn what those steps are, and enjoy it a little bit.
Don't overthink it. The key here is your savings rate, not how much and did you choose the right fund. You just do it consistently over time. So go check out that YouTube video, Investing for Beginners, on my channel.
This is The Ramsey Show. I am your host, Jade Warshaw, joined by George Camel. Give us a call. The number's 888-825-5225, and we will talk to you about what's going on in your life. That's what Zach did. He's in Phoenix, Arizona. What's going on, Zach?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing all right. So me and my wife were on baby step number 2, and we are pretty much set to get out of baby step number 2 and move on to 3, probably about 6 months.
Way to go.
However, we ran into a roadblock. My wife is set to have surgery, back surgery, here in a little bit. We kind of held that off a little bit. I have her getting a second opinion from another doctor, but it's still looking like she's going to have to get surgery.
Okay.
The issue I have, it's pretty invasive surgery, but the issue I have
is that she has a medical issue, and every time she's had surgery, there's issues that stem from that. And she goes out of work for, several weeks. There was a time where she first started her job, and she's like, 4 months into it, and this was just last year, but she's 4 months into it, and she has to go on leave, but she has no time, and so she's leave without pay. So my issue is, I pray that nothing's going to happen to her, and it's going to be smooth surgery.
Yes.
But the offset chance with her medical condition, if it does, have some issues or complications with it, would it be okay to pause baby step number 2, save up some money just in the case that she has to stop going to work for a short period of time, and then go right back into it when she's back?
You said it. Absolutely. This is what we would definitely call a storm mode. You have a medical situation that's coming. You know it's coming. You know it has the potential to be costly in more ways than one, possibly. I 100% would do that. How much debt do you have left in the debt snowball?
We have $25,000.
Okay. And
we paid off a total of probably about $22,000. We were kind of slow starting, and then I got her pretty much. We both sat down, we got on the budget together, and we went gazelle intense pretty much in April, and so we paid off around $22,000 already.
Very
Awesome.
good.
What's the 25 that's left? What does that make up?
It's a car loan. So we just 2 months ago we just paid off all the credit cards.
Cool.
And now it's what's left is the car loan.
What's left on the 25 on the car loan? What's the car worth?
It's worth $27,000.
Good.
Okay. Kelly Blue Book, that was a couple months ago, so I'd assume it would be right around the same.
And what's the income? Let's say she's not working. What will the income be gross per year?
Yeah, so her take-home per month is, the way I do the budget, it's not necessarily per month because we get paid 26 times every year.
Got it.
So I kind of plan just for, that extra payment we're just going to throw to baby step number 2.
Kind of like act like you live on the 24 payments.
Exactly, yes. So she takes home every 2 weeks $3,900.
Okay, and
then
you?
Altogether it's $8,500.
Awesome. Okay, great income. I'm just trying to figure out here, because of your situation and how quickly you could clean this up if you got a less expensive car. And it sounds like it's not a huge part of your world. I don't think it's one of these like, you got to sell the car tomorrow. What are you guys doing? But because of your tumultuous medical situation, if you sold this car, you walked away with $2,000, how quickly could you save up the difference to then go get a car in cash that just gets you from A to B for a while you get this emergency fund stocked up, which would help me sleep better at night if I'm in your situation?
Yeah, and we did talk about selling the car at one point, but that was obviously before this medical situation happened. So, not on the Dave Ramsey plan. We're just living the American way, right? And we're just, buying car loan here and everything like that. So I got it for her graduation present.
This is sentimental. This is emotional now.
Yes, it's a little bit. So, she was on board. She actually said to sell it, and I know she said to sell it with good intentions, but in the back of my mind too, it's like, hey, you went through, hell and back. I really want you to, I think we can pay this off pretty quick. And so now with this and the bump of the road, we haven't had that conversation since then. So maybe that would be.
I think let's revisit it, because I know you had a great motive and pure heart going, man, she really deserves this car. But what you guys deserve right now in this season of your life is peace and freedom and levity, so you can focus on her health instead of how are we going to make this payment and how is this going to pause our debt snowball. So if I'm in your shoes, I'm going to have a real hard conversation with my wife and go, hey, in the next 2 months, we can save up this much. That will give us enough. If we sell the car, we'll have enough to go get a beater car for $5,000, $8,000 that will get us from A to B until we get to solid financial ground with a fully funded emergency fund, which I would have 6 months for you guys, for sure, with the health conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of those health conditions, I was going to say, speaking of your health condition or your wife's health conditions, have you guys hit your deductible yet for the year, or do you foresee like having to pay thousands of dollars out in order to do so for the surgery?
Oh no, we hit our deductible, and I have pretty good health care through my employer.
Okay,
so
it's more covering the bills if she doesn't have income than it is the medical bills.
That would be mainly what it is that, hey, can we get, we'd be pretty tied down with losing her income.
Yeah.
Because it's almost half of it at that point.
Yeah. Well,
and
then
I don't want just something to happen and it just gets extended, and now we're trying to.
What's that car payment?
That's $550.
Man, freeing up $550 tomorrow, that would change my life if I'm in your shoes.
Yeah.
And the thing about this stuff is sometimes we get so connected to a purchase that we made because of sentimental reasons, because at the time it was a good purchase in our minds. But when you look at it the way that George said, which is, look, you can have $550 free. Like, that's a lot of money free. You can always get a car again. It's kind of like sometimes we think if we sell it, we'll never be able to have it again. And it's like, no, I bet if you sell it on down the line, you can have a even nicer car when the time is right.
So freeing up that $6,600 a year of net income going towards that payment, I know you're going to pay it off soon, but I'm just looking at the situation going, if this was any other circumstance, she had great health, she was going to continue to work, I'd say let's just pay the car off, do the debt snowball. But it just is worth considering to give you guys the peace as she goes through this surgery and heals that we don't have a payment in the world.
Yeah.
And now we've got the emergency fund starting to get built up, and I just think sleeping better at night is better than the sentimentality of the car.
I agree. I'd want to take the fastest possible path to get to that piece, like you said, because they've still got to they've still got to clear out the debt. They would still have to think about funding their emergency fund and, maybe saving up for a slightly nicer car, after selling this one. And I just think that it feels like a huge sacrifice in the moment, but what are you getting?
Yeah.
Like you said.
And rarely do people look back with regret on those decisions and go, man, we shouldn't have sold that car.
I know
because here we are debt free and it's just the worst and I wish I had that nice car. So it's a good reminder, though, for those that are wondering, do I pause the steps? Do I pause the debt snowball?
Yeah.
And the only two times you do that is in storm mode and stork mode. So if you know there's a storm coming, the layoff's going to happen, you're going to get fired, whatever it is, there's a baby coming, there's a surgery coming, let's pause, make minimum payments, and save up as much cash as we can.
That's right. George, you made such a good point, and I want to hammer in on it. I can tell you guys, and George, I know you have your own stories. When you're getting out of debt, the sacrifices that you're making, for some situations more extreme than others, but never once have I ever looked back and gone, man, if only I had just bought that dress, or if only I had just, been able to get that steak dinner, it would have changed everything.
I got lambasted because I had sold a few Apple stocks I had from when I worked there to help finish off my debt snowball. People are like, this guy's an idiot. Does he know how much money he could have? I'm like, you know how much peace I have?
You don't even think about it.
I'm good, bro. I'm going to be okay. So do what it takes. You will not regret following the Ramsey plan.
You sure won't. It'll be worth every penny. All right, you're listening to The Ramsey Show. Give us a call. The number is 888-825-5225. Scripture and quote of the day. Daniel 12:3 says this, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." Jimi Hendrix said, "Knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens."
Ooh.
Okay.
All right, Jimmy.
I know, Jimmy. That's what I'm talking about, Jimmy. Guys, I want to take a moment before we take a call to tell you about something that's going on. We are doing a series of webinars about budgeting. Y'all have been talking to us. We are listening. You need help with your budget. Who doesn't? It's not easy to just go out here for the first time and start budgeting. There's a lot of learning curves there, George. There are a lot of little things that sneak up that's like, hey, what if I don't get paid the same amount every month?
Yeah. Well, they self-select out and go, well, Jade, it's not for me, because here's the thing. My situation's very unique.
Oh, everybody's an exception to the rule. I get that. Everybody's the exception. It's like, Jade, I'm a waitress, though. And I work on tips.
Or I don't make enough to budget.
Oh, that used to be me,
Or
George.
I make too much to budget. On both sides,
Okay.
people are like, they opt out. And I'm like, bro, it's just an intentional spending plan.
Intentional? You sound like somebody else that I will not say their name on the radio. The point is, the budget it's a tool. It's a tool that you use to get your money right. And here's the fact. We know y'all are out here living paycheck to paycheck. The stats are telling us. You guys are telling us by calling into the show. We want to help you. We're going to help you. I'm kicking off this series of webinars. I'm doing one next week. It is August 9th. Is that correct? Yes. I want you to sign up. It's totally free. Okay?
12:30 Eastern time.
12:30.
That's 11:30 a.m. Central time.
Look, this is
I'm
lunch
signing up.
break.
I'm saving my spot.
That's a lunch break. You can go in there with your Publix sub or your Subway sandwich. It doesn't matter if you get lettuce in your teeth. No one will see you because it's a webinar. And unless you ask, you can ask questions, but you don't have to put yourself on the camera. So you can just eat your sandwich, sit in your car.
You can pop it in the chat. You can get on audio only.
Yes.
So don't be scared. You're
That's
not like
right.
on Price is Right here. It's just Jade. She's the star of the show.
And if for some reason you're like, hey, I signed up for the webinar, something came up, I wasn't able to make it, it's recorded. So you will have a recording of it. So there's really no reason to not sign up. This is what you've been waiting for. We're going to answer all those questions. Sign up for the webinar. It's everydollar.com/budgeting.
Did we mention it's free?
It's
that's
free.
Insane.
There's two parts of this that's free. A, the webinar where we're teaching you, and B, Every Dollar is free. The budgeting tool. When I tell you guys about Every Dollar, I am not blowing smoke. I've been using this thing since conception, George. Since it very first came out back in 2016, 2017, it did not have all the bells and whistles that it has now. Now it's got these features where even if you have irregular income, it's got that paycheck planning where it helps you see this is when you spend your money so that you don't run out. Because that's the missing step for a lot of people. It's like, hey, I know I have the money, I budgeted it out, but somehow I'm still like coming up to zero
Too
at the
much
15
month
on the 15th.
at the end of the money.
Right. So you have to actually decide, okay, I know what I'm going to spend, but the paycheck planning tool helps you decide when you're going to spend it throughout the month. So good. So many features. Guys, this is your chance. Don't miss it. Not one day. Day one. Let's go. All right, George, let's take a call. We got Simon in Rockford, Illinois. What's going on, Simon?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing good. I have too much energy right now. I'm sorry that I came in hot right there.
She got all riled up over budgeting, man. This is how we roll over here.
A true nerd. What's going on, Simon?
I'm 20 years old. I still have 2 years left of college. And basically I'm just trying to come out of college with the best path made for me to become a millionaire at a young age, or not necessarily millionaire, but be financially free at a young age. So I have roughly $290,000 in investments.
Holy smokes!
Well, okay, so most of it came from inheritance. About $252,000 is an inheritance. That's in a traditional IRA. What I put in is I have a $30,000 one-year CD at 4.75% right now, and then I also have $8,000 in Roth IRA.
Wow.
And as well as I have $20,000 in a savings account.
What the heck? Why are you calling us, dude? You need to be hosting your own show.
You're going to be a millionaire if you do nothing. If you did nothing else.
Yeah, if you leave the inheritance in that investment account, you will be a millionaire in no time.
Right. But
your
the thing is,
hey, hold on. Your thing is not to mess it up. That's your thing.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up by being so, I don't know if I can say, but so bent on trying to be a millionaire.
And trying to get there faster.
That you
this is tortoise in the hare.
Yeah, that you start investing in things that you're finding on TikTok and things that your buddy over here is saying. If you don't cool out and go, hey, this is pretty nice, you could mess around and lose that money by bad investments. So George is going to help you out here.
Yeah. So do you have any debt?
Right. No, I do not. And I'm fortunate enough for my parents to be paying for college.
Awesome.
But the main question I have is I would love to get into real estate. My parents have about 14 units of their own. And I see where it gets them. But I would love to get into real estate as well because I'm studying physical education right now. And as you know, the starting salary around where I'm living it's about $45,000. And I mean, that I assume I'm going to have to budget with that. I don't know. I have yet to pay my own bills and do all this. I'm just trying to figure out, if I should take this money from this investment account and put it into a real estate unit, maybe even live in it like a duplex or a fourplex, and then generate income off of that. So then on top of my $45,000, I'll have rental income as well.
Here's what I would do. You got 2 years left of college. You've got this money sitting there. It's parked in the right place. Go to college, finish that. Right. And then this is just me. George might tell you something different, and that's his prerogative. I personally would not invest in real estate until I was an owner of my own personal residence. Then I'm able to see, hey, this is what ownership looks like. This is what it feels like. These are the types of repairs that I have to do. This is what it costs. Because I'm not saying this in anything negative at all, but you, my friend, have been extremely fortunate. You got parents paying for college. You got inheritance. That is incredible. But sometimes it's like you said, you've never had to budget yet. You've never had to pay for real things yet. And I would love for you to get that experience, just that real life. I'm using my income to make my life go round. And then we can start talking about what it might look like to invest in some real estate, paying cash for it.
Okay.
Simon, the other piece of the equation is the 10-year rule on that inherited IRA. Does it apply in your situation? Have you looked into that?
That's a good point.
So I'm pretty sure what happened was I got it about, I'd say 6 years ago. And the rule with it was is I could legally inherit it after 18 years of age. So I'm 20. So as soon as I turned 18, I changed it from a custodial account to my own because my mom's name was on it. And now it's all in my name. And I talked to my advisor, and I'm pretty sure I can just take it out.
But there's no required 10% per year for 10 years type deal?
No.
Okay, I'd get some real firm answers on that and do some homework and digging, and I'd also get a tax pro in your corner as you begin to do this thing, because you are so far ahead of the curve, and I love that you're trying to go, hey, I want to manage this well. I want to be a good steward of this. But what I don't want you to do is get so hung up on this idea of I got to have cash flow, bro. That's all you see on social media. It's all about cash flow. And I don't want you to look up 50 years from now and have regrets because it wasn't all about cash flow, and you had to also live your life, and you wanted to start a family and buy a house and not have all this risk going on. And so there's nothing wrong with just investing. I think you're going to be a real estate mogul at this point.
Yeah.
But I want you to do it the right way. Do it with cash. I know that's so countercultural, Jay, to even say that out loud. Bro, you want to put down as little as possible, and then you get the HELOC, and then you refi, you do the Burr method. And I'm like, stop listening to guys on steroids who have red faces tell you all about real estate hacks. Listen to pale guys who just live normal lives.
What about me, George?
Well, Jade, you're not out there yet.
Pale
face
guys and brown complexions.
Listen to Jade and I. Anyone that doesn't look like Joe Rogan's angry telling you about real estate, that's who you should listen to.
Oh man, that does it for this hour of the show. Man, when it comes to your life and money, you can tell me that you won't do it, but don't dare tell me that you can't. With Christ, all things are possible.
Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.